So, hello and good morning. It's a really exciting day to be with you here in Ward 5. I'm always excited to be in Ward 5. But we are here to really celebrate the removal of yet another barrier for district families. As we know, when you have a baby, you need diapers. And so I definitely know that. And the elimination of the diaper tax is extremely important. And so what an honor it is to be here today to celebrate the leadership of Mayor Bowser on the elimination of this tax. So my name is Dr. Faith Gibson Hubbard, and I have the honor of being the first executive director of Mayor Bowser's Thrive by 5 Coordinating Council. And I am sure that you are all asking yourselves, what is Thrive by 5? And I am so glad that you asked. So Thrive by 5 is a manifestation of our city's commitment to maternal health and early childhood development. And we know that the merging of those two things are what gives us the positive outcomes that district families really need. And since the beginning of Mayor Bowser's administration, there has been a focus on uncovering and investing in what district families need to be healthy, happy, and whole. And we know that the key components to that is focusing on and taking a deeper look at the needs of moms and our youngest residents, babies, from birth to age 5. And Thrive by 5 is a part of the mayor's commitment and this investment in this space to the diverse needs of families. And so I want to pause right here because I know that we are here to celebrate the elimination of the diaper tax, but there's something else exciting coming up that Mayor Bowser will be hosting on next Tuesday, the second annual National Maternal and Infant Health Summit. And things like the diaper tax and so many other conversations come out of summits just like that. And so we hope that you will join us on Tuesday, September 10th, next week, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to continue the conversations that we're celebrating here today and so many more. And more information about that can be found at dcmaternalhealth.com. So I may not have mentioned earlier, but I am the mom of two. Colton, who's age 5, and Emerson Drew, who is the head of our household, who is 18 months old. And diapers are a huge part of our lives, and it has been really for the last 5 years since my son arrived. So each month, I do a quick cost comparison of who has the cheapest diapers. I look for coupons, I look at my Target Red Card, I think about all the different things that I need to do in order to purchase our monthly allotment of diapers. And then I make my husband take the trek to the local store and pick up the largest pack of diapers that we can find. And generally it's somewhere about 150 diapers. That is nowhere near what we need for the month to make it through for Emerson. Because between childcare and at home, she goes through a lot of diapers. And I know that we have the luxury of being able to look for this cost comparison, but many of our families don't have that. They go to local corner stores, they pick up diapers where they can, and they cannot make the types of choices that they want on the type of diapers that they want for their children because they have a need immediately. And we know that the elimination of this tax will really help families to think about what else they could be spending their money on. Because I know that I spend more than $500 every year on just diapers for my daughter alone. And I can't even imagine what other district families are thinking about. And so don't just think that it's the first 2 years of your child's life. It goes on to 3 and sometimes even beyond that as we're working to potty train our children. And so while there are many district families like mine, I want to be the first of all of our district families to thank our mayor for her leadership in this space and really thinking about what we need as district families to make living in the District of Columbia the best place that we can possibly live. And eliminating this cost for families will be a huge incentive to keeping our district families here. And so I want to thank you, Mayor Bowser, for your leadership. And I now would like to introduce to you Corinne Cannon, who is the founder and executive director of the Greater DC Diaper Bank. So, Corinne.
Good morning. It is wonderful to be here. My kids call Costco my happy place. So it's nice to be here without them. It is. It's all, everybody's happy place. I am the founder and executive director of Greater DC Diaper Bank. Each year, we serve about 10,000 babies and economically vulnerable families. We've distributed about 2 million diapers every single year throughout the region. Since our founding in 2010, we've distributed 8 million diapers and thousands and thousands and thousands of incontinence products and period products to economically vulnerable families. Our model is pretty simple. What we do is we work with 45 social service agencies, some friends I see here, and what we do is we pair the essentials. We pair diapers and tampons, formula and cleaning supplies, with interventions that work for families who are struggling with poverty. And people often hear what they're doing and they think, oh, that is so precious, that is so sweet. And what I say to them is this has very little to actually do with diapers themselves. What diapers do is they are gateway resources. They connect an economically vulnerable family. They connect a struggling mom to social services, to support. They build trust. They keep a mom coming back for a case management appointment. They keep a mom connected to a social safety network. I want to tell you one quick story about what diapers can do, and I think it's really important to think about the dominoes of this. As I said, we work with a lot of social service agencies. One of them is Bright Beginnings, and they are a child care center for homeless families. And there was a young mother who was bringing her child, but only every third day the baby was coming. And the teacher said, we want to see her every day. We want to see your child every day. What can we do to help? Mom said, I'm fine. We started partnering around diapers. She started getting diapers from us every single month. The child started coming every single day. And the teacher said, what happened? We're so excited to see your daughter every single day. What happened? And she said, you're providing my diapers. I can buy my bus fare. Think about the dominoes on that. For a pack of diapers, a child is now getting 3 meals a day, high quality education. Her mother's getting access to case management and social services. These are small things that diapers can do. Our families, they're struggling. They really are. There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of fear. Small things like this, like bus fare and diapers and an extra $8 for milk and bread and eggs, makes a world of difference in the day-to-day reality of our families. And our vision is a very simple one, and I'm so happy to have all of you here. I'm happy to have the mayor here to kind of support this vision. We want to live in a community where all families thrive. It's not a hard thing. We can do this together. I think the removal of sales tax from diapers, incontinence products, and period products is a giant step. It is a baby step and a giant step at the exact same time. Doing away with sales tax on a few items is not going to lift families out of poverty. We know that. But it will provide some relief, and families need relief. Today, I'm very glad to help spread the word about the sales tax removal and introduce Mayor Muriel Bowser. I'm sure Mayor Bowser has gotten an education on the world of diapering in the last few months. I know the issue of maternal and mental health is very, very dear to her heart and something that she's very committed to. The thing about infant and maternal health is it's not one thing. It's all the things. It's the small things, like repealing sales tax. It's the big things, like quality child care and health care. There's lots of things that go into this. But together, we can do the big things and the small things and create a community for all of our families. I am very grateful for your support to repeal this. I'm grateful for the DC Council and for Councilmember Bonds as well. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. It is always wonderful to be in our happy place. And I see all of our happy friends with us coming to our Ward 5 Costco. Let's thank all of our Costco team members. I'm always delighted to come to Costco. I see so many friends and neighbors, and I see so many DC residents working here. And that was the promise of Costco, and I always see a full parking lot. So that means people are happy. So I want to wish everybody a very good morning. I want to acknowledge and welcome Councilmember Anita Bonds, who you're going to hear from in just a minute, a Ward 5 at-large council member. And I want to acknowledge and thank Corinne for being here, for the work that she's doing around our region, and for the story she just told. We really couldn't have said it better, that what one pack of diapers for a family can mean. I also want to acknowledge and thank Faith Gibson Hubbard, who is a Ward 5 and Executive Director of our Thrive by 5 Commission. Faith has a long service to the Ward 5 community. I met her serving as the Education Council chairperson, and she's worked with the State Board of Education. Now she is the cabinet member in my administration, really responsible for working with every agency to make sure that budget and legislative and all of our initiatives are focused on making sure the 0 to 5 experience for our young people and their families is an outstanding one. We know when they have a good, strong, fresh start, that the sky's the limit for them. And so we need to be very focused on all that we are doing to make that happen. I also want to recognize Jennifer Porter and Ashley Emerson. Jennifer is the director of our Women's Policy and Initiatives Office and leads the commission. Many of our commission members are here. We're the Women's Policy Commissioners. Give them a big round of applause. They advise us, they advise my administration on all the important work affecting women and families. But today we're here at Costco to talk about a very important issue, as you heard. And it is true that over the last 15 months, I've learned a lot about diapers and diaper cream and wipes and all of the things that go with them. But as I tell Miranda when I change her diaper, and she's quite upset about it, you don't want to walk around with a dirty diaper, because that's going to hurt, Mama. So we have to make sure we have to make sure that families have everything that they need. Now, if you were like me, and some of you here are past your diapering time, others of you are thinking about your diapering time, but some of us had no idea how much they cost. I didn't, for example. But I'm just talking about a pack of diapers, and what we have behind us are big packs of diapers. But most families are going to the grocery store or to a local store, or could even be going to a corner store, because they may not be able to buy 150 diapers at a time. It's just cost too much. So some folks are buying diapers every week or every few days. And each time that they do, they are being assessed a tax. A pack of diapers is about $11, and a newborn baby uses 10 to 14 diapers a day during the first few months of life. And if that sounds like a lot of money, it is. And just keep in mind that some families are also, at the same time, they are buying formula. They are buying new clothes that don't last very long. They are seeking child care. They have more health care appointments and the like. And so what we have committed to doing is finding more and more funding and programs and ideas that put money back in the pockets of DC families, and programs that make living in our city more affordable. So we have done a lot of things over the last several years, including expanded tax credits for homeowners and renters in the district. We have expanded our Kids Ride Free program, as well as expanded our summer youth program, all that put money back in the pockets of DC families. In this year, we made permanent a tax credit of up to $1,000 per child for families who are enrolled in DC licensed child care facilities. So last year, with the help of council member bonds, we put money back in the pockets of residents by eliminating the pink tax. And that's the tax on menstrual hygiene products. And now we're doing for the same for diapers, as the council member anticipated in her legislation. In the coming weeks, businesses will receive letters from the Office of Tax and Revenue reminding them about upcoming tax changes, including the elimination of the diaper tax. And Director Porter and her team will be in the community making sure families are on the lookout for these savings and reminding businesses to make the changes in their systems. We know a dollar here and a dollar there may not seem a lot, but it is a lot, and it adds up. That's why we made the DC circulator free. And combined with other cost-saving policies like the child care tax credits, they are making it easier for families to afford to live in DC. So this is a reminder. October 1st, there are tax changes. One of them is the elimination of the tax. And that's for DC families to come to DC businesses to buy their diapers, and they won't pay taxes. So with that, I want to turn to the author of what we think is hugely important legislation and the protector of this funding through the council's process, Councilmember Anita Bonds.
Thank you for doing this. Pleasure. Absolutely. Well, good morning, everyone. It is my honor to join Mayor Bowser on this occasion as the author of the Feminine Hygiene and Diapers Sales Amendment Act. As the mayor has said, today we are celebrating the coming of October 1, just a few weeks away, when sales tax will no longer be required on the purchase of diapers. In fact, this is the next step towards achieving greater gender equity and the latest efforts towards saving income for DC residents, especially those living on a low or fixed income. During 2018, my office worked with the mayor to fund the first portion of the legislation that eliminated the pink tax. That's the sale on, as mentioned, feminine hygiene products, pads, tampons, those things that we consider very important in our lifestyle. That effort continues to benefit the thousands upon thousands of women and girls who purchase these products in DC. You got to purchase in DC. That's the way DC rolls. This year, with much pride, steps went further to fund the final portion of the legislation, that is the elimination of sales tax on diapers, inclusive of baby diapers, as well as items enjoyed by adults that allowed them to move around secure and safe and protecting their privacy. Ladies, am I on it? Yeah. Okay, got you. All right. In a few words, eliminating diaper tax will help babies and senior citizens in particular that have to go, and they can go a little cheaper. My congratulations to the Executive Director, Faith Gibson Hubbard of DC Thrive by 5 for her work towards the goals for DC families, and to Director Jennifer Porter of the Mayor's Women's Policy and Initiatives Office, and to my good friend Ashley Emerson, whom I knew as a very effective ANC commissioner, and now she does other things broadly across the city. And certainly to the Executive Director, Corinne Cannon of the Greater DC Diaper Bank on this special occasion. Our actions today send a resounding message to the community, and that the government of DC cares deeply about its residents, and that the government of DC cares deeply about the residents and understands that a simple measure of eliminating a tax brings benefits throughout the city. With pride, we also realize that when we give to women and families what they need, the return to society will be manifold. Again, everyone, I stand with great pride with Mayor Bowser for this act that places DC in the company of leading progressive, pragmatic governments and jurisdictions across the United States. Congratulations, Mayor.
Thank you.
You're doing it.
Thank you. Good job. Okay, I think we have time for a few questions before the shopping begins. Questions? Mark?
Mayor Bowser, can you address some of the counterpoints to this? In other states where they're considering this legislation, the opposition to it has been that you're giving a tax break to everybody. The intent is to families, low-income families who need help, as was so described here, but you're giving this tax break to families who don't. Why not direct funds more specifically to these families that need the help rather than giving everybody the same tax break?
Well, thank you for that question, and I'll ask the council member if she has anything to add. The council moved the legislation, approved it unanimously to make sure that we were not only helping all DC families, but we were making this a benefit that was easy to administer for DC businesses. And sometimes you can be very specific and targeted with programs, and the administrative burden makes it even harder for families to take advantage of. This is simple. You shop in DC, you buy diapers, you don't pay taxes. Administration over. Next question. Yes. Oh, council member, anything to add?
If I could just add, one of the benefits of reducing or eliminating taxes in the city, it causes individuals, families, households to shop more in DC. So when we think about how we are trying to look at our economy, we're looking at it broadly because the results that we get will be affected broadly. So this is an opportunity for us to give all families that raise young people, our babies, and our seniors, as you well know, that live on fixed incomes, an opportunity to have a more quality life.
Yes.
Is there a possibility you're going to eliminate taxes for other products that are in need for seniors and babies?
I think that we have covered the main elements of the bill, and that's where we are right now. But I will say we continue to look at ways to make sure we are supporting healthy moms and babies. We will host our second annual Infant and Maternal Health Summit on Tuesday the 10th. That's next Tuesday at the Convention Center, where we will have several panels, including service providers. And we will review recommendations that come out of that health panel to be included in our budget discussions. Yes?
One more on diapers. Another debate about diapers is the environmental impact of disposable diapers versus cloth diapers. Your administration has really led the way as a green city, banning plastic straws, styrofoam cups and containers. Is there any thought that this is maybe counter to your environmental mandate, making it easier to get disposable diapers?
No, I don't. One thing I know for sure is that people are going to use disposable diapers, and we don't really find that we're taking disposable diapers out of our rivers like we're doing plastic bottles and plastic straws. So they don't present the same immediate negative environmental impact that some of those single-use plastics provide. Yes?
Take some off-topic questions?
Sure.
Okay. You recently had two high-profile incidents in which DCRA and fire marshals were placed on leave because they allegedly did not do their jobs. I've recently seen a document that shows that the fire marshal's office did a complete check of all DC schools just before school started, and that as many as 30 had been cited for fire code violations. Were you aware of that? And if so, do you know if those violations have since been corrected?
We do those types of sweeps of our buildings all the time, and whatever they reveal will be corrected.
Do you know right now whether or not there any schools in the city right now have fire code violations that haven't been fixed?
I will have to get back to you with the status, but we don't have anything preventing us from operating our schools.
Okay, fair enough. Secondly, on the fire on Kennedy Street, we've reported that there was a 4-minute delay by the Office of Unified Communications in getting help out the door to get over there. The national standard is 60 to 90 seconds to get there out the door. Karima Holmes told WTOP that overall my thoughts about it is that there was no delay, no slow response. Do you have any comment on that, and do you support Karima Holmes?
Karima Holmes is outstanding. We are lucky to have her. And we are reviewing everything related to the 708 Kennedy Street fire. And if whatever, we will report out when those evaluations are done.
Do you have a concern about that slow response and getting help out the door?
Well, I'm not going to agree with your assessment. I'm going to wait until our assessment is done, and then we will report it out.
All right, lastly, tomorrow night the U.S. Attorney's Office is holding a a town hall with ANCs about Charles Allen's bill to expand the sentence reduction law. Your stance on that right now?
As I think I mentioned earlier, when a question about this earlier, I think the council needs to take in some more information. I think that a lot of the testimony they received was very heavy on the side of what offenders and former offenders and advocates think. I think they also need to take into account what victims of crime think. I think they've asked a legitimate question with this legislation. People who have served long sentences no longer posing a threat to the community. How should they be handled moving forward? But I think the voice of victims has to be raised up, and I didn't see that in the testimony that the council got.
So you're on the fence as to whether or not you're going to support it?
I want to make sure that victims' voices are raised up. The council hasn't moved it out of committee, and it hasn't received a final vote, so it's still being considered.
The U.S. Attorney having this town hall, weighing in, apparently trying to influence the path of this legislation. I don't recall a U.S. Attorney recently doing this kind of...
Well, this is the time where anyone who wants to influence legislation should influence legislation. So, for example, everybody here should know that the council is considering a bill that would reduce the sentences of people who were convicted of crime up to the age of 24. Some of them very violent crimes, homicides, rapes, in assaults with weapons. So people who have served 15 to 20 years. The question is, they've served 15 to 20 years. Should they have an opportunity to have their sentence vacated or reduced and returned home? So that's the question that they're dealing with. But what I saw so far in the council's deliberations is nobody representing the victims, the person who lost a loved one, the person who watched his wife get raped in their home in front of their children. Those voices were not represented. Legitimate, tough questions being posed, but both sides need to have a voice in the deliberation.
Mayor Bowser, can you comment on the 2 school children who were shot this morning and Woodson being on lockdown this morning?
Chief Newsham is on the scene and will get back to me with the details of what happened. It doesn't appear that it was related to Woodson or any school community, but an incident that happened in Marvin Gaye Park. These were school-aged children who should have been in school. So we are trying to figure out what exactly happened. I understand that they sustained non-life-threatening injuries, which is a blessing, but also a reminder to us all that we have got to get illegal guns off the streets.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.